Hey everyone, how's everyone doing on this fine day? Hello there, Custodial Ruby. So, I'm not really going to be doing a gameplay or doing a. Well, I will later probably, doing a gameplay stream, playing GTA or something. But right now, let's honestly have a heart to heart discussion about the current situation in GTA Online. So, if you have any questions about a certain topic about what I'm about to go over, you can ask it in the chat and then I will answer it for you. But right now, we're going to be going over GTA Online Tryhards, how they ruin the game. Simply, it's their gameplay, how they play the game. They only care for what I have at the bottom right, which is KD scorecard. If you disagree with that, I don't really know what to tell you, but one thing I can say is I have had a lot of tryhards message me saying that they're 1-0 and all that. You guys know the drill. They care about the scorecard. They'll do anything to up their score on you. To the topic of EWO, I've made a whole video on it, so if you want to watch that, I'm about to discuss EWO in all right now. But EWO, the problem I see with EWO is, one, it's cheap. Two, it's not supposed to be in the game. Three, it's bullshit to deal with. You have these tryhards. Yeah, getting one kill apparently makes them good at the game. That's how a tryhard sees everything. Yo, what's up, Y7? How are you doing today? Y7, we're just going to be discussing tryhards in GTA. So if you have a question or want me to go over a certain topic, just tell me in the chat. But back to the EWO part. I don't really consider EWO to be a vital part of the game. Sticky bombs are being used the wrong way whenever a tryhard uses it to EWO. Some people say that they only EWO to reset their health, but if you honestly look at it how I'm looking at it, isn't that the same purpose to not get a kill on him or let somebody get an easy kill on you? It's honestly the same thing in my eyes. When you're resetting your health, instead of using something like snacks, you're using something in the game, like a sticky bomb, the wrong way. Is my mic good? I'm making sure you guys can actually hear me. Okay. Yeah, my mic's good. Okay. But back to what I was saying. To reset health, that's pretty much the same thing. Them not wanting for you to get a cheap kill on them. Well, yeah, I agree to get cops off, but like, if they say that it's to reset their health, that's pretty much not them not wanting you to get an easy kill on them. What is the worst thing that tryhards do? Honestly, whenever they start PvPing you or attacking you whenever you're just driving around, they'll just come at you, hit you with a Mark II when you're just trying to have fun or do something. They'll come at you with a Mark II, blow you up, and then as soon as you start fighting back, they do all this bullshit like the EWO. They pop BST to try to hit you once with a sniper. The worst thing I can say that they do though is ganging up on one level. Literally, they can literally be 1v1ing someone that's a level 1 and they'll still call for backup. How is that in any right fair or fun when you're literally having like 3 to 4, possibly more tryhards jump you at the same time? I just don't see how they can call that like the so-called skill they have. You see laser in the title? Yeah. I'm honestly, the way I feel about the laser is it's kind of broken in my eyes, but some people like it due to the fact that it helps them out with grinding. I like it for the grinding purpose, but when somebody starts using it in PvP, it's kind of just cheese in my eyes. Yeah, ganging up on someone is never considered skill in my eyes. Especially when you start out 1v1ing someone and they're kicking your ass at a PvP and then you call for backup because you can't deal with the stress that they're like bringing on you. Dogfighting, I would say laser dogfighting. I don't really enjoy it that much. It is something that is there to do, but it just gets boring for me. Dogfighting in the laser is just like, especially with the tryhards now that you see where they don't even start turning with you. They'll just try to hit you as soon as they see you. Which I dogfight. I just consider that like hitting you once and then attacking you on ground, which is what normally they do. I mean, if they would remove the cannon from it, I really wouldn't have a problem with it, because think about it. If they would just up the laser to be like one of the best dogfighters in the game, like even a Starling has trouble like keeping around turning with it. Because if you think about it, the F-16, one of the greatest jets in America at the moment, but you have this thing that is like broken to the concept that it's not even a dogfighter. It's pretty much a ground strafing tool. I mean, you have jets like the Starling, and I don't really consider the Starling. I wouldn't say that it should be a good dogfighter, because the sole purpose of the Starling or the Comet, whatever you want to say, was to attack people and then apparently crash the jet into them. The whole design of the Starling is close, but the back end of it kind of makes it a good dogfighter, because how a jet works is it needs that back rotor or the back turning shunters to be able to turn better. Oh yeah, the Mark II is the worst thing they have ever added to the game. I would honestly say that the Mark II should be removed before the orbital cannon should. If they ever do decide to remove one thing, I would say that it would have to be the Mark II. Because with an orb, you can actually avoid it. But a Mark II, you're literally just sitting there getting like hammered down on by somebody that knows how to like shoot rockets down at you. You think the Starling is broke for dogfights? In my eyes, it is, honestly. I like the Starling because it has saved me from getting like teamed up on by multiple jets. But the fact is, the Starling should not be a good dogfighter. I agree with you about that. If anything, the F-16 should be or the laser should be the best dogfighter. And then if they add future jets like the F-22, make that a better dogfighter. Just make it have slightly better turning than the laser. That's what I feel like they should do. They should have like a Smuggler's Run Mark II version where they add newer aircraft. They just update the old aircraft in general. Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's one reason why I like using the Starling, because whenever I'm getting like tag teamed by multiple jets, especially Hydras or lasers, I was able to take down 4 out of 6 jets attacking me. Just imagine that. You have 6 jets in the sky trying to hit you with an explosive cannon. I sprayed one of them out. I feel like that's how I was able to win it as well as I did. I sprayed one of them out, and then I pretty much damaged the other ones enough to take them down. But yeah, that's one reason why I like the Starling so much, for being a dogfighter, but in my eyes, it shouldn't be a dogfighter. I feel like dogfights should be a lot longer lasting than most laser dogfights. Because if you look at laser dogfighting, it's literally just stalling a little bit or so, getting a turnaround, and then hitting you with an explosive cannon. Just because if you make one little mistake in a laser dogfight, you're more than likely going to lose to the other laser. That's how I see laser dogfights. It's just so easy to win something, because if you make someone mess up one little turn, if you do one little thing to mess them up, you're pretty much going to win that dogfight in a laser. Unless you're Y7 over here, who can actually stall the laser very well. I remember when me and Y7 actually did a laser on laser dogfight, I had the hardest time just getting around to him. Most of the time, whenever I did get a turnaround on Y7, it was because he like made a mistake, and that's what I'm saying about the laser. But what have I not covered? KD and scorecard. KD is a scorecard, believe it or not. Or scorecard is a KD. It's your kill to death ratio for a battle. So when Tryhards say they don't care about the KD, they only care about the score, it's pretty much the same thing. You're looking at a kill to death ratio for a certain battle that you're doing. And believe it or not, kills actually does up your KD. So caring for scorecard actually does matter, or not matter. It pretty much counts as caring for KD at the same time. If you care for score, you're caring for your KD, because it's literally caring for getting kills that's going to up your KD or down it. And that's what I feel like a lot of it is the scorecard and the KD ratio. I feel like if the scorecard or KD ratio was removed, a lot of the toxicity would be removed, where they wouldn't want to blow themselves up to prevent you from getting a kill. I feel like that's got to be the main part of why people do it, is because they don't want you to have a score on them. But BST, that pretty much ruined ground PvP for me. BST is really cheesy. So just imagine this. You're fighting back against someone that is attacking you for no reason. Then they start using BST to one-shot you. I agree with you, Custodia Ruby. If they have to use cheap tactics to win fights, they're not good at a game. I agree with you on that. But the sole purpose is I feel like the KD and the scorecard really do hammer into why people EWO use BST. Maybe not the lasers, because I feel like, well, actually, no. People use the laser for PvP, like the specific tryhards that I'm talking about that use the laser and just dive bomb you nonstop. It's because they find it the easiest jet to use because it lets them get kills easier. Yeah, I don't look at that either, Eric. I don't care if they kill me. Yeah, Y7. That's called being toxic. Like most people, like Gilly once said, he's had multiple people come into his lobbies just to screenshot a score they got on him. And I kind of find that just being overround just too toxic for a game. That's why the scorecard and KD ratio is why I see the biggest problem in this game. It may be listed last, but you know. I remember one time having a literal. I lost brain cells from having a conversation with this one guy. He literally said if they ever did remove scorecard or the KD ratio, he would still just count his kills, which is another thing they would probably do. Is just count how many kills they have on you and say, I've got this so many kills on you better. In me, PvP is about who is forced into doing the cheapest the most. If you're forced into doing something cheap, then you're a worse PvPer. If you're forced into using BST or EWOing or anything like that, then the other person is better because they're forcing you to do stuff like that. I should talk about Rockstar Games a little bit. Rockstar Games, I feel like it's pretty much Rockstar Games' fault why these people, because if they cared even a little bit about their game, they would have done something about it. And the only thing I can give them is I understand that the virus is affecting them from working, probably. I don't blame them for not continuing updating their game after the virus came out. But think about it. All these God mode, the laser, the Mark II, and everything before the virus came out, and they were still sitting at their desk. Like, why didn't they fix the game then? Oh, I know why. Because maybe it has to do with the fact that they're losing money. They're not losing money, so they don't care. Rockstar Games, if you played your game any bit, you would understand that why people like me, Gilly, the professional, have quit making a lot of content on you is because we don't find the game fun. It's pretty unfun to go into a GTA lobby, get attacked by someone, and then have them do all this bullshit. And then you expect us to just be able to leave the game, report them. Your reporting system doesn't do anything, Rockstar Games. I'm sorry, but I feel like it's Rockstar Games' fault in all. Rockstar does not play their own game. I feel like whenever they do manage to do something, like I know they hear us. They've put okay, so remember back when the Mark II didn't have a cooldown time? We were begging them for the longest of time, for a year to 2 years almost, just for them to nerf it somewhat to where it wasn't so overpowered. They put a cooldown time on it. That was good. They are hearing us. They just don't care until it blows up in their face. Until they start losing money or it blows up in their face, they aren't going to do anything about it because they don't care about it until it's losing them money. And then another thing. Yeah, I agree with you. It needs something to have happen. I feel like what should happen with the Mark II is, think about this. If you've ever owned an RC tank and have used the explosions or the rockets on the RC tank, I feel like that should be the damage of the Mark II's missiles. Because you're pretty much able to spam really good accurate missiles. That would make jets like the B-11 actually be able to survive in lobbies. If you think about it, a Mark II missile is literally small. As small as a Mark II missile is, how should it do the same damage as a Chernobog missile? I'm not trying to get into realization or being realistic about here, but a missile like a Mark II should not have that much damage, in all honesty. If they would just make the damage similar to the RC tanks, missiles, then a jet would be able to survive more like the B-11 that can escape the good tracking that it has. And then again, if you're thinking about it, it wouldn't be that hard to do it against NPCs because they're not moving like a B-11 would. They're just sitting in a car moving, and the great tracking would still be able to hit them. If you spam enough rockets, the damage is eventually going to blow up their car or get the target. Because you're able to lock on to the targets regardless. That's what I feel like should happen to the Mark II, is the damage should be dramatically decreased. Similar to the RC tanks missiles. Because then again, if you wanted to take down a B-11 with the Mark II, then it would take out drive-by weapons. Yeah, that would be a good thing. But I still feel like my way would be a little better, because even if a B-11 was getting spam missiles at, it would get hit, yes, but it wouldn't be able to, like, damage it, or it wouldn't be able to damage it like it is. How the B-11 currently gets damaged by a Mark II. How it just, if you get hit in the back, you're pretty much done in the B-11. Because it knocks off your back rotors in the back. But the thing about the damage, if you're getting attacked by a Mark II, if that was to happen, you can just fly up. And you can get away from them. It wouldn't be so hard to do that, I don't feel. Unless you got really, really unlucky and the missile somehow hit you and just somehow was able to break off your rotor, then that would be kind of broken still, I guess. But I feel like that would change the Mark II forever. But adding missiles on a bike, mixing two of the worst vehicles, like my friend Custodia Ruby can say, mixing two of the worst vehicles in the game was never a good idea, and putting countermeasures on it nevertheless. The Deluxo, the Mark I oppressor, did not have countermeasures. I feel like Rockstar just went over the top with this vehicle. But if you think about it from a game developer's ways, I don't feel like they meant for the Mark II to be a bad thing. It's just people use its power too bad. It's still overpowered in my eyes, but I don't feel like Rockstar intended for it to do as much damage as it really was, like as it has done. I feel like they thought it would be just a cool vehicle to like hash out and put out there for us, which is another thing Rockstar likes to do. They like to hash out these bullshit like updates for us. Because like, let's all be honest, the updates that we're getting is pretty bad. Like, even Red Dead is gotten bad updates. Because, like, let's all be honest. Outlaw Pass. Ass. I don't even know much about that, about Red Dead, but I can pretty much say in my eyes, it's not really much better than GTA Online. Yeah. Um, I feel like Red Dead is no better than GTA Online because every time I seem to join Red Dead, I get attacked for some utter reason. They'd see, I guess it's because I'm a low level in Red Dead, and they're like, oh, this guy would probably be easy to kill. Let me go after him. The day I load into Red Dead and play it, I'm literally just killing like deer and stuff and selling them to a butcher for money to make money in the game because I didn't know anything about the game. And all of a sudden, I get attacked by these people using explosive rounds in Red Dead. They invite me to a party. I turn on my, like, what I have to where I have a VPN that does not stop a DDoS attack, but it gives me a general location of where they are and where the attack came from. And I have it to where it can change my IP after that. But the thing about it, they were saying something about their KD in Red Dead, which I didn't even know KD was a thing in Red Dead. That's why griefing isn't nearly as bad. There's actual countermeasures against griefing in that game. I wouldn't say it's better than GTA, but I do like how they do have a defensive mode in Red Dead. They have a defensive mode, they have a parlay, which I've actually been victim of somebody still attacking me after I parlayed them after a while. I've been victim of somebody still teaming on me with his little, like, fuck crew. It was, but what was removed? Anyway, back to GTA, though. Rockstar Games, you don't play your own game. Which is one reason why I feel like they just hash out. They removed KD. Well, that's good. I never knew there was KD in the game in the first place because I don't play it as much as GTA, but anyway, Rockstar Games, I feel like they don't even play their own game. And for the facts that I have to that is if they were to play the game and stream it like they used to and get attacked by the stuff that they added, I feel like they would see the game a lot different. We know that they have seen us hash out about the Mark II. We want it removed. I honestly don't even own a Mark II in the game. I never intend on buying one. I wouldn't even care if I did own one and they didn't refund me my money. That would mean more to me than getting my money back, is them removing the bike or doing something about it to where it's not overpowered as shit. I wouldn't even care about getting money back at that point. I would just be happy that they did something about the Mark II and made it to where it was actually balanced more than actually removing it. Then again, removing it is fine by me. If they want to remove it, I wouldn't care. I would rather see it change, though. I wouldn't want to see anything actually removed, but well, actually, no, I would want to see the orbital cannon. There's no use in the orbital cannon. The orbital cannon. Oh, that's one thing I can talk about. The orbital cannon. Let's get into it. Orbital cannon. I'm driving down the road trying to get my supplies sold, my crates, my gun running, whatever I'm trying to do. Some kid in his mom's basement or his attic snorting G Fuel is like, oh, I'm going to orb the sky real quick. Yeah, that shit. The orbital cannon holds no purpose in GTA Online besides being a griefer's tool. I don't see how Rockstar intended for that to bring any good. I feel like they purposely added it into the game because I feel like their theory about it was So if people are grinding and they get orbed, they're not going to feel like grinding all that back. So they're going to contribute to shark card sales. Wait, that means an increase in money. Oh, hash out this update as soon as we can. It's going to make us more money. It's that sad that we have literally thought that about a game, especially a game company like Rockstar, and especially with a game company of their stature. Why can they not fix a game that they have built up? They're letting all this bullshit kill their own game. I have played GTA Online pretty much since, when was it? December of 2013. And I can say it was a lot better back then. It was a lot more peaceful back then. Still, you would have people come up to you, shoot you, back up to you in Zentornos, use Rhino tanks, and all this stuff that we thought was overpowered. Man, did our past selves was in for a rude awakening when we saw the newer updates. But yeah, back then, when they first added gun running, I feel like that's when it started taking off with the Tryhards. Stuff that was added that kind of like represents them, bulletproof helmets that can survive headshots. Whenever they started combining like BST with the game, didn't have Mark IIs or DeLoreans, yeah. I don't really consider the Deluxo to be that big of a threat. I honestly find it one of the best Mark II strategies to use. If you know how to use a Deluxo very well, then you can take out a Mark II. But if you're using a Deluxo to go around killing people, then yeah, that's kind of broken and overpowered. But if you're looking at it to fight off and defend yourself, it's a good vehicle. But to the people that abuse stuff's power, that's where it goes wrong. That's why what I was saying earlier, their reporting system does nothing. Why can we not report something when they can literally just make some kind of thing in their game to where if it picks up that they're griefing with a certain vehicle, then it should automatically ban them or something. It's still futuristic. It doesn't belong in the game. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with a lot of stuff that don't belong in the game. But in all honesty, the Deluxo, when it first came out, I don't think it was worse than the Oppressor. The Oppressor was pretty bad, but the Deluxo pretty much gave us a counter to the Deluxo. Or not, the Deluxo gave us a counter to the Mark I, because you couldn't really do anything. Because think about it. A Mark I Oppressor trying to avoid a Deluxo missile, it's impossible unless you get very, very, very lucky. I have had the tendency where me and my friend Custodial, I was in the Deluxo. I think he was in either the Scramjet or the Vigilante. And my Deluxe, he shot a missile, and I was somehow able to avoid his, but he couldn't avoid mine. It is possible to avoid Deluxo missiles, but then again, it's very, very, very rare. Unless you're in something armored or you get very lucky, you're going to be able to survive a Deluxo missile. Yeah. Any more futuristic vehicles that come out that's going to break the game even more, I'm going to honestly call it quits there. I feel like Rockstar, why they hash out stuff is, again, for the money making, and then people want to buy shark cards to buy these things because they don't feel like grinding. Yeah, it's very true.